Alright, the following quotes come from a book called Not by Bread Alone, The Biblical and Historical Evidence for the Eucharistic Sacrifice by Robert A. Sungenis, page 220 and 221. Quote, although the councils of Nicaea, Epiphysus, Constantinople, Chalcedon, and Quinisex knew the sacrament of Eucharist was practiced and upheld by the Church of their day, they never even remotely denied the substantial presence of Christ in the Eucharist, or in any way denied the concept that Christ could hold his own body in his own hands. Surely the councils would have reacted vociferously to a contradiction between what the early fathers taught about the Eucharist, which, that Christ was in a heavenly body, but also in the Eucharist, and what they were dogmatizing about the Incarnation. But no such concerns exist in any way in any of the councils. In fact, of all the councils and fathers, there exists not one denial of the substantial presence of Christ in the Eucharist. The fathers, although aware of the mystery of the divine ubiquity, never expressed a problem in distinguishing Christ in heaven from Christ at the altar. Speaking from the consensus of belief on this matter, John Chrysostom writes, quote, by this reasoning, since the sacrifice is offered everywhere, are there, then, a multiplicity of Christs? By no means. Christ is one everywhere. He is complete here, complete there, one body, and just as he is one body, and not many through offered everywhere, so too is there one sacrifice. End of quote. The footnotes for this quote read, taken from John Chrysostom's Homilies on the Epistles to the Hebrews, page 63, 17, and 3. Ludwig Ott writes, quote, the mode of being of the body of Christ in the Blessed Sacrament is the mode of being of a created spirit. For example, it is similar to that of the soul in the body, but while the created spirit is limited to a single space, definite presence, for example, the soul to one single body, Christ's body is at one and the same time present in many places. Thus, he is in his natural mode of being in heaven and in his sacramental mode of existence in many places. The multilocation of the body of Christ is not a circumscriptive one, limited one. Christ's body is present in its external extension, circumscriptive in only one place, namely in heaven. In its sacramental state, however, it has multi-presence, insofar as it is present in many places, in a sacramental manner, at one and the same time, without external extension. The multi-presence is a mixed one, insofar as the body is present with external extension in heaven, and without external extension in many places in the sacrament. By multilocation, the body, as such, is not multiplied, since numerically the body remains one and the same. The multiplication is of the body's relation to space, that is, its presence. This resolves the objection that contradictions are asserted of the body of Christ, for example, that it is simultaneously at rest in movement, or is near to and far from the same place, or is remote from itself. End of quote. As with the Eucharist, the councils did not give an exhaustive explanation of the precise nature of the Incarnation, since the vocabulary, as well as ours, was somewhat limited in the face of such a mysterious divine manifestation. Similarly, many theologians in the Catholic Church have admitted that even transubstantiation is not a perfect explanation for what occurs in the Eucharist, but is the closest explanation we have to what occurs. Facing such mysteries, the Council specified more what could not be stated about these esoteric doctrines than what could be stated. For example, regarding the Incarnation, one could not say that Christ possessed only one nature. Rather, one had to understand Christ as having two natures, one divine and one human. But the councils did not explain what a, quote, nature was, nor how the two natures existed together without mixture or confusion, end of quote.